we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Super Desperation Radio!
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Super Desperation Radio, where I actually didn't screw anything up today. It's pretty cool. I'm actually sick too, so it's amazing. I always do it best when I'm like, ill and everything could go wrong, but it just doesn't, because I guess I actually pay attention when I'm sick. So yay for me.
Is that kind of like when you play your best really hungover at a tournament?
Yeah, it's like, your brain's just not really 100% where it's supposed to be, so you overcompensate for it, I guess.
Yeah, you hyper-focus on that one thing you need to get right.
Right, and everybody starts patting you on the back, like, hey man, good job, and then you throw up all over yourself and it's gone.
I've never done that.
Well, when I get hungover and I play in tournament, I know that never mind. Anyway, we have a very exciting show for you today. We're going to try to get through all of our topics really quickly and get to our guest who you see down in the left corner, Barry UNLV. We'll introduce him later on today. He's got a lot of stuff to come in and talk to us about. He's got big stuff plans. We got Burst League, we got Smash GG, we got Genesis, we got other stuff with him. This is my first time talking with him in length too, so I'm very excited to learn a lot about this man. But let's get into some news topics first, because we've got Injustice 2 coming out tomorrow?
Yep.
That is
So apparently the day 1 or the day 0 patch came out this afternoon already. So I know players are already kind of going back and looking at all the setups and combos they came up with over the weekend, because obviously New York and California, I don't know if NorCal got it. I know SoCal did. So they all were coming up with tech over the weekend, and the patch came out. I don't know if that's the last patch or if there will be even another one tomorrow, but people are already having to go back and kind of reevaluate characters based on things that they thought they had, and maybe they don't anymore. So...
And this is in comparison to what they were playing before, or perhaps compared to the last game they played?
What they had before. So a lot of people were figuring out some really disgusting setups with Captain Cold already. Mm-hmm. Like Sonic Fox definitely had setups for his level 2 trait to either just freeze you for blocking or reset you. I don't know if all those are going to hold with the patch. I haven't actually seen anybody detail all the different changes yet.
Okay. Well, that's kind of be expected. Very rarely does the beta stuff make it into the release form, but if it sounds like it's like a completely different play style for some of these characters, that could be the loop that nobody was expecting.
Well, yeah, I think everybody kind of expected a day 1 patch. I'm pretty sure MKX had one as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that's... Oh, what?
I was going to say, that's the NRS cycle where they just, they run patches almost every couple of, want to say, not weeks, but maybe one every month or so.
Yeah, it really depends how it works for them.
Yeah. You think that's going to happen this time? You think they're going to, maybe loosen the reins a little bit on the updates here?
I felt like MKX was definitely better than MK9 and Injustice in terms of... For some people, they still patched it too much, but I feel like they were much better about trying to space the patches. So I'm hoping that they've learned, again, they're going to take what they learned from the old games and maybe space this one even better still. I don't know, though. We'll find out.
Yeah. I know that that's definitely a delicate balance, you don't want to leave a game lying too much with, some really bad stuff in the code, but at the same time, you don't want to, completely upheave or upend the whole meta, more or less.
Well, definitely, because I know that's been a huge complaint of some vocal Capcom players, especially Viscant actually made that point. That was in, I believe it was MKX, when one of the patches came out and changed Sonya a lot. He was just like, this is why a lot of people don't play these games, because to me it feels like I've wasted all of this time learning a character that no longer exists.
Wow.
So it's just one of those things where, you have, on one hand, like you said, you don't want to have characters that are unbalanced or broken in other ways where stuff just doesn't work. But on the other hand, you want to let people feel like they're learning their character and developing something over a long period of time and not kind of taking that away from them. Mm. So.
Well,
I don't know.
They'll figure it out eventually. They're definitely the only ones or the leaders in trying to figure out the balance of patching versus, features, I guess. So yeah, you can pick that up tomorrow, and got first big tournament's going to be Combo Breaker, I believe. So you're going to have a pretty explosive outing already out there.
And we're going to see, I was going to say, we're going to see Wednesday night fights and maybe Next Level running that game for a couple weeks too. So we might get to silly, before that.
The week 1 to week 2 nonsense, man.
It's going to be great.
Stuff, dude.
It's just going to be great.
That's the grimiest shit. It's going to be fun.
Exactly. You're going to see people who literally have not seen shit before. They're like, what is that? So.
That's awesome. I mean, I can't wait. Also can't wait for, we got another release coming out soon, but will also be at Combo Breaker, Guilty Gear Revelator 2.
Yep.
That is, that's still not out yet, right?
No, it actually officially comes out the day pools start at Combo Breaker.
So that is literally day one. Day one tournament.
Yes, that is day one tournament.
Well, it's a day one tournament, but people still have a chance to practice.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Because
the demo is opening up doors for people. It removes excuses. People can learn.
And
online play, but
and when we go into the Combo Breaker numbers, we'll see that apparently a day one tournament isn't that big of a barrier to a lot of people.
Oh yes. I mean, and this is all achievable because ArcSys was very cool to have the demo available to people, though you had to be plugged in online to do it, to play it. Everybody's practicing it right now. I know I've seen a ton of stuff for characters that are not obviously available in just straight up console Revelator. So
yeah,
if you already own Revelator, I think you have access to this demo, or they just give it to you if you have PS Plus or something.
It's just PS Plus.
Just PS Plus. Okay.
And it's a big thanks to Access here in the US because I know that Europe has not had a chance to get this demo. So it's definitely a combination of Access and Arc System Works working in tandem. So thanks to them.
Okay. So what do you think is what is the overall feeling around this this monumental occasion happening at Combo Breaker with obviously we have the large numbers, but apparently they were already large. You got to imagine that most of these people were already signed up before they even heard about Revelator 2 even being a possibility. And now that they've got Revelator 2 up there, I imagine the community is just let's go.
I was and am actually shocked at the numbers. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking over 200, but not much. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, maybe we'll get 250 if we're really lucky. And yeah, I kind of blew that away.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, definitely hats off to the Guilty Gear community coming out there to support at Combo Breaker.
Those pools are going to be wild.
Dude, deep shit going on down there.
I'm hella drowning in pools.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Oh, hey, this guy gets top 5 everywhere he goes. Oh, he went 2-2.
Dude, I haven't been playing. I'm going to die so bad. It'll be fun, though, but damn.
Yeah.
That's going to be really cool.
Since we're on the subject of new games and pre-release things, the Capcom, the Street Fighter CFN beta is out. That's what it's called, right? Capcom
that is correct.
It is out. People on PS Plus get a free demo of it up until today, I think. Maybe it's ended already.
It might have been.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I think it was 11th to the 14th.
Yeah, the 11th to the 14th, I believe it was.
Okay. Oh, I was told 15th by a Capcom person.
Well, maybe it is, but
man.
A lovely weekend with Ed, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have done something extended it yesterday.
Maybe. But people got a chance to play Ed. I played him 2 matches, not knowing how to play Street Fighter V at all. He seems fun, but he doesn't really seem like a good character. But then again, I don't know Street Fighter V very well, so I can't make that, decision whether he's good or not. You guys played at all?
Yeah.
Nah, not me.
I fired it up on the PS4 version, and it was pretty interesting. I only played Ed exclusively, and it was funny playing as people because a lot of people were just kind of very few people were actually playing Ed, but a lot of people were just kind of mashing on a bunch of other stuff. And so when I was trying to play against them and adjust against their play style, a lot of people quit. After the first round, I was like, come on, man. I don't even know how to play this character. But he feels interesting. He's got a lot of good links, but unfortunately, it feels like a lot of his special moves are a little stubby, a little short. I feel like that could be used to get a little bit more of adjustments, and at least for his uppercut thing. But yeah, it doesn't feel like he's the greatest character, but he's got a lot of interesting stuff, and I think some matchups are going to be really bad for him, like versus Guile and stuff. Like, I'm not really sure what he's going to do, but we'll see. I mean, this is obviously a CFN beta as opposed to, test the character.
Yeah.
Adjustments can be made down the line.
I mean, does he? So, like, I have a question. Does he have like a way of getting in that is like, pretty solid at least?
It's kind of weird. His V skill's useful in those kind of senses because you can pull people towards you, even like on block. But getting in, I don't know. It isn't like he has like a end all be all dash forward kind of move. He's got a dash punch. He can throw projectiles, so
Okay. That's interesting.
Try and get in behind the zoning and stuff like that. But it seems like you kind of need V trigger in order to like really like hold someone down and really approach them from my perspective. But other than
that's cool.
Yeah, he's just fun, and that's cool. That's something everyone that I've seen who's played the beta so far all agree that he's a fun character. But then a lot of people don't think he's viable competitively. But we'll see how that turns out. The more important thing is I saw a lot of negative criticism towards the online. I guess I didn't experience it myself, but I see a lot of people saying this version of CFN is worse than the previous version. Online's not as good. Matchmaking is worse. And
that's actually pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I don't know what it was like in the previous build or the previous version, but plenty of people were complaining about it over the past couple of days. So, good chance Capcom's gonna work on it, try to make it better, or it was just, hey, it's just a beta. This isn't the final thing. We'll see. I'm curious how it turns out.
I definitely heard some people saying that people they used to play against before, and then they playing on the beta, it was worse than like their normal usual connection. So.
For the odd thing is, like, I played 4 different people, 2 in SoCal, 1 NorCal, the other in I think Denver, or like somewhere around that area, and all the connections were fine. Like there was no issues. It wasn't laggy. There was very little delay. It felt almost as good as KOF's online. So I don't know. Maybe it depends on the person.
I only did casual matches, and not against like anybody in particular. I had it on 4 and 5 bar, and for the most part it was fine. Though a couple people were like really teleporting and obviously just kind of doing online tactics and matching, but I can't react to anything because when you do something, you end up in the air after being hit by like an EX Shoryu. And then I put it just strictly on 5 bars, and it was okay then. It was still a little. Occasionally, it would get a little weird, but for the most part, it was fine. But yeah, I don't know. It still feels like even if you get off that 5 bar, I'm not ever sure if it actually gauges it properly.
And the other thing is this version is it's slightly rebalanced, right? This version.
I think so.
Like I know some things were changed from what I was reading, but I don't know exactly what. I'm not gonna go into it, but it's coming out when? This week or next week?
They haven't announced yet, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if they.
Yeah, I think this is part of the delay that happened a little while ago, where there was like a bunch of hype, and then they said, "Oh yeah, we're not coming out anytime soon," and they didn't have an actual date behind it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was kind of just to see. After the first beta, they wanted to improve some stuff. The second beta is to kind of see where they are, and hopefully, maybe they've gained enough data that they can kind of give us a date soon. But I mean, if people are having spotty connections, it almost might be better to just
wait, I
hate to say it, push it back again. Yeah. But I know people don't want to hear it. I wouldn't.
Hey man, I'd rather hear that than them say something like, okay, we can't fix it, So here we, enjoy your broken product. for another 8 months.
I mean, we all know that they can't. They definitely can't come out and say that.
No,
Like,
exactly right. They can't come out and say that. I don't think they can even say enjoy this product at this point. You know, not that I have no faith in it, but it's almost like when you choose to delay something like this and nothing significant seems to occur, like you almost just have to release it and say nothing at all. You know.
There's some truth to that. It's one of those things, kind of like what you were getting at, where it's like if you make big promises and you can't fulfill them, you're just screwed no matter what.
Right. And we've been seeing that with this game since it released, which was basically like, you know, a confusing tournament structure. Nobody really knew what was going on with the single player stuff, and so all these things kind of just like, you know, congealed into one massive shitstorm. And I mean, I know there's something to be said about, you know, first impressions, but like Street Fighter V's first impression has been like pretty much haunting it since last year.
Yeah, because they're definitely put in a lot of time and effort to try to make this game a lot better, and it is 100%. Definitely. But yeah, like you said, first impressions, man. People are just going to rag this game till the end of time. They're just going to drag it forever.
Yeah. Dude, it sucks. Like, I see them doing some stuff better than most people right now, and it's almost like it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Nothing matters. They can make the game perfect. It could be a flawless game in every way, and people will still complain just because they came stumbling out of the gate.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson learned right there.
Yes. Close it out before you put it out. Always be closing.
ABC.
Yes, sir.
So there was some closing going on this past week.
Oh yeah.
This one sponsorship company. What are they? Fable, right? Did they close a deal with a Kizzy?
Oh
right?
yeah.
Sir Kizzy K.
Oh, Sir Kizzy K. The shookest of knights. He got picked up. Fine. Like, I'm gonna thank Kugi for this. This is Kugi. Kugi put out a tweet like, "Hey, sponsors, this guy needs to be sponsored," and he got sponsored like a few days later.
Godfather Kugi, huh?
Yeah,
this guy, he needs a sponsor. Come on.
Yeah, man. Kizzy's been on that grind for months, slowly improving. Anybody who pays attention to Guilty Gear and BlazBlue knows that he's been working his ass off, slowly climbing in tournaments. You know, getting top 8s, but never quite getting that highest rung. Except he was getting it sometimes at Wednesday Night Fights, and then the last few months, man, just been lighting everybody up.
Yeah, it's been nonstop action coming from that guy.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And
he's good people.
No, he's good people.
He's good people, and he loves me for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, you got one person who loves you.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? I'm happy about it. I'm genuinely excited. I'm like, hey, this guy likes me.
What I'm excited for about this is that I'm actually glad that there are sponsors now looking at games outside of Street Fighter V, Injustice, Tekken. They're looking at, you know, Air Dashers. They're going to, you know, probably look at KOF too, because, you know, Kizzy is a budding KOF player now.
He's good.
He's really good too.
Throwing this out there. He's actually a solid player in KOF 14.
Yeah.
Turned out his training partner was some guy named Reynolds. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's kind of good.
You know, he's probably some guy who just never leaves home, just can't even catch a flight.
Yeah.
Who would fuck is Reynolds? I didn't even see him at 2014 Evo, man. He's like totally.
I don't know who he is, man.
Yeah, I didn't see him there. I didn't see him at
the only person I remember A.S. Bernard. He was a hell of a player.
A.S. Bernard was amazing, man.
That was good.
A.S. Chuck Bronson.
I wonder if we're going to see Chuck Bronson when the Steam version of KOF 14 comes out. Maybe he'll come out of retirement.
Oh, so like I'm not going to have us take credit for it this time because it happened at a significantly different amount of. There was some time in between the episode ending and the announcement coming, but I will say that Mondays are like the best day to announce anything when SDR is talking about shit, 'cause I can take credit for anything.
That was us. They said like, oh,
I wasn't gonna say that, but damn it, guys, we did it.
Oh, it's us again? Hell
it's
yeah.
us. Dude, we make this shit happen. KOF 14 coming out for the Steam version sometime. Now, there was some confusion about this because the pre-order window was stated to be in May. The pre-purchase window is in May. I think some people got a little confused and assumed that the game was coming out in May. and that is not true. There is no solid release date yet that I know of. So if you hear people saying that it's coming out in May, I'm not going to say they're liars, but I don't know what they're basing that information off of. But still, one of the biggest barriers of entry to this game was the fact that it wasn't on PC. Everybody says, when's Steam version? When's Steam version? Well, Steam version's happening finally. And, I mean, if it's even half as good as the way 13 ran with 14's netcode, it should be pretty damn good. It should be a pretty damn good port.
Yeah. I hope it turns out great. I know plenty of people who want the game who can't play it because they don't have a PS4, they don't have access to a PS4, and they've got these PCs that can run. They can run like 5 PS4s at once. So they should be able to run KOF 1C.
Oh yeah.
And
go on.
it really is good for people in like Latin American or European countries, because I know that in Latin America, from what it seems like, their console prices are ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
I think it's like $1,200 American for like a PS4 or something over there. So that's why like PC is like a way easier platform to get, because I mean, if you're gonna spend that much, that you're gonna get like a beefy rig anyways.
Damn.
And if you were to, in some countries, like if I remember right, in Brazil, if you were to import a PS4, let's say from America, $300, you would have to pay full tax on it, 100%.
Yeah,
it's nuts. But this is going to be good. KOF is going to have a console title or a console release. It's going to have an arcade release in the coming months, and it's going to have a PC release. No excuses for anybody.
Now, no word on crossplay either. I know a lot of people were concerned about that. We don't know if it's going to be cross-compatible with the PS4 version or even with the arcade version.
Yeah, who knows?
But that might be a thing. I think the arcade cross-compatibility might be a more likely scenario, considering Street Fighter V's arcade release is going to be cross-compatible with its Steam release. So
really?
That's what they've been saying, right? They've been saying
you know what? I'll believe that when I see it.
I just feel like that's like a conflict of interest, because like imagine like you're in the arcade and you're playing against some dude and he's just like blowing your back out for free at home, and the guy over in the arcade's like, damn it, I have to pay $1 every time just to get my ass whipped. Like, this guy takes on the chin, just rolls back in. While I, on the other hand, have to keep paying.
Oh man, that's actually a pretty good scam. What if they have like some kind of credit system for playing arcade players in the Steam version? Like you have to win a certain amount of matches to win like 1 credit to play arcade players or something.
Yeah, maybe like it has to like build up over time.
That 10 cents money, man.
Yeah.
So we've got all that going on, and that's going to be good for KOF. It's nice to see that KOF and Gear both will have Steam console and PC thing going for them.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But again, we mentioned this early on in the show. Combo Breaker's coming up, and numbers for Combo Breaker are kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, they're impressive.
For Gear. We have a guest today from the illustrious Smash GG. He goes by Bear UNLV. I keep calling him Bears because I'm an idiot.
Got guilty gear on the brain.
Yeah, guilty gear on the brain. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, Bear.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
You're good.
All good.
You're in there.
Welcome, sir.
You got him on the mic, or you got him on the
Hey,
video?
how's everybody doing?
We're doing good.
All right.
Pretty good.
Tired.
Good, yeah. I heard about, you guys talking about crossplay for arcades.
Yeah, something we were theorizing if it could work or not.
So some people are speculating that King of Fighters 14 is going to have crossplay on, say, Steam and arcade, because there's a very good chance the two are the same exact build.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. Some people are complaining about it because I guess PC and PS4 Street Fighter V isn't the best from what I'm told. I don't know myself, but this is just what I'm told.
You never know.
Make their own little network, because Capcom Fighters Network is its own little thing where it can connect both of them. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see King's Fighter on Steam, because I know a lot of people in Latin America that don't have the luxury of having a PS4 because of the tariffs and tax on a lot of the consoles.
Right, yeah.
That's what we were just talking about.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
But that's why, when they come over here, a lot of them actually buy a lot of systems and just bring it back as their handbag luggage. Because I used to work in the airport and I used to see it all the time. And I was like, why does this guy have 2 PS4s in his hand? Like,
Hold on, man.
he was flying a Copa back to Brazil, and I'm like, hey man, where are you going with this PS4? Like, I didn't care. I was just like, wow, this guy really must be setting up a local back out there. And he's like, no, it's a gift. It's too expensive. These 2 PS4s is like barely. It's cheaper than buying like one. That's oh, that's great. I mean, I would do the same thing too. But how's everybody else doing? Good. Seems good. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. I really appreciate it.
Dude, we really appreciate you coming on. Yeah. Like, we haven't spoken very much before, but you do a lot of stuff that intersects with my interests. So I was like, got to come pick this guy's brain once,
Yeah, no, I been part of FGC for quite a long time as like an observer. And I didn't really take initiative of being more involved to kind of catalyze growth in other areas until probably like last year after I started working Combo Breaker, CEO, and Evo, and core staff-wise. I felt like there's a lot of things that I could do to help the scenes, and many scenes because I meet a lot of fighting game scenes, and they has their own niches, their own common interests, and sometimes their own things they kind of shit on and kind of make fun of, which is great because the Smash community makes fun of like certain weird things, and then like the Street Fighter community makes fun of just savagery or some kind of like there's always like one guy everybody picks on, and that's always fun to kind of see. But then it's good to see the rivalries. But in general, definitely I saw a lot of potential for growth for Kings of Fighters, Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue in general. Once I saw that, we were in, those games are included in EVO, but two, it's just there was a lot of hard untapped potential for people to like find a place to go to find events, and it's very similar to what happened to like Smash events when I first started trying to get into scene. Is like the most difficult thing is for people to be like, yo, where do I find like my local or like my next regional? And it's kind of partly why I took initiative to help create Curly Circuit and also Burst League for KOF, BlazBlue, and Guilty Gear and King's Fighters in general, because it's a really nice go-to place for people. And also in terms of our league pages we have on Smash GG, we're gonna update it pretty soon, where it can be a little more streamlined of knowing like location, date, right? Because right now, actually, like believe it or not, Smash GG is still in like not full release, so it's kind of beta, so to speak. And it's kind of reason why it's changed a lot in the past year since I've been with it. Because if anybody's interacted with the site pre-2015, like 2016, it looks a lot different than it is now, and that's because we've been having a lot more staff on board to improve the UX, and also in general kind of cater to the communities using us. We just got done with Danger Room for Marvel, now that ended up being a really nice community initiative, but also just in general it was their first type of like voting, and we raised about, and then a bunch of other, and we raised 2K for the documentary, and then we had a bunch of side events that were fulfilled, but all the profits went towards the goals, and it was fun community initiative. And ideally I'd want it to be bigger, but it was, I think for 8 for the first time, we kind of wanted to test it out for Bondo and the team, and it seemed like everybody enjoyed it, especially the Mario Maker bonus activity, which was kind of funny to watch. Like
having Yipes commentate that was amazing.
I mean, I think in general, seeing that at like these special events, I think that kind of humanizes players, because I think one thing I've noticed is, so in like Smash Brothers, they've done Smash, like Beyond the Summit has done a summit thing for about a couple of years now, and their formula is just they make it casual but also have serious play. So we followed similar to that format, but in general, when you have games that kind of humanizes people, like makes you feel like you want to tune in because you're just hanging out with your bros, and I think Mario Maker really highlighted that, because in general, like a lot of streams I feel like an FGC can benefit from that. Not that I want to see Chris G demolish people all the time, or I want to see like the best KOF player demolish people. But like in a way, you kind of want to watch K-Brad play Mario Kart, and
Oh yes, definitely. There is money to be made there. I guarantee.
Yeah,
you.
like that'd be dope. Like I would pay to watch K-Brad and Ding Wong and
Also, I got your Mario Kart stream right now. It's K-Brad, Yipes, me. Who else can we get in there? We get in freaking Punk. We get in Punk.
Yeah.
Get in Sonic Fox.
You gotta bring in Rixta.
Rip. Bring in Bronson. You gotta bring in Bronson and Tasty Steve.
Oh man.
There's your There's your Mario Kart stream right there.
You run a Mario Party stream at that point.
You mic us all up and you tell everybody, hey, 18 and over.
Yeah, and like in general, seeing that kind of helps familiarize people with the game. Mm-hmm. And and it's just nice to have that done. But in general, it's been really great to be with Smash GG. I work technically in partnerships now and partner support. So if you ever submit an event with Smash GG, I'm typically one of the people that will, I'd be like, hey, here's your support chat system, and we kind of help people TO set up the event. Also, sometimes I respond to people's emails for customer service. We have a team that does that, but sometimes it depends on like the situation. Like a lot of the Evo questions I'll answer mainly because I'm part of core staff for Evo as one of the TOs, but also I'm their main Smash GG rep. So I don't want to like have someone never using us and being freaking out because they can't, register as a spectator or like, add a game. And it's been a lot. So far, it's been much easier for people because now one thing I've noticed in general for FGC is no one ever really had a go-to place to be like, oh shit, I registered for this tournament, because they would have to like go back to their emails and all that stuff. But now it's a lot easier where I'll have a lot of like pro players and even team managers be like, hey, is Momochi registered, or hey, is Punk registered? Even my own team. And I'm like, yeah, just like I can check for you, but your player, if they just log in their Smash GG account, look at their dashboard, it'll say what's their upcoming tournaments they are. If it doesn't show up for this said tournament, make sure they register. Or if you need them to register, if you like, in a lot of times, like a lot of the managers will have their passwords, so that's fine. I never really care as long as like they register properly and do all that jazz. But in general, we've had it's a lot easier for people to know, like, oh shit, okay, I'm registered for CEO, Breaker, Evo, I'm good to go. And now we just recently put Summer Jam onto us, with East Coast Throwdown on Smash GG, and Defend the North. A bunch of good major events are on our platform, and it's really nice to have that because I think in general, for the TOs I've spoken with, once they get used to it, and we're improving a lot of the features to make it a spectator viewership and enjoyable experience as well. Because I know a lot of people, when they ask me like to see the stream or they want to see what's going on, and we've added a lot more fun features to the system. Like we actually added a new stats feature, which essentially what it does depends on the game. So on for a good example is like Guilty Gear on Northwest Major. So if the TO themselves report the character usage, it'll let you know data in regards to like certain matchups. So if enormously well versus another character, like, okay, as a player, maybe I should practice this character for this certain matchup because I'll win. And obviously everybody has different skills of a character, but it helps with data aggregation. And also, good thing about this is if you ever have any online events with Smash GG, or if you ever just reviewing it, one of our requirements we have for tasks when we have people play online is they're required to show what character they're using. So if you're like really smart as a player for Intel, you can go and like past like Mortal Kombat tournaments, and we'll have Injustice 2 tournaments on our platform as well. And I just added all the full renders for them. But you can essentially see like, all right, which character is doing the best and who is this character demolishing, and that way you can be like, all right, this person's top tier. Like I'm gonna pick this character, and you can see that with like any game now. Any past events that do it where the TO reports the character usage, you'll actually show up automatically. So it's really nice to see that.
That's awesome.
we rolled out last month. And also a lot of the Mortal Kombat guys have been using it, and they're kind of excited to see how it goes for Justice 2, because everybody's just trying to figure out who can win and who can demolish. I don't blame them, because Pro Series looks very very competitive, and also there's a lot of dough to go around there.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's quite an explanation.
Sorry, I go on tangents. I just get really excited.
No, that's good. We want that. We want that. It's good TV.
I wanted to
There's just
say
like so much stuff.
I want to say, I think I'm the only one out of all of us that used Smash GG, right? Or did you use it too, Anthony? Smash GG. Am I the only one who used it, or did you also use it?
I mean, I used it to sign up for Evo.
Yeah, I've used it to
okay,
register for tournaments.
So I
actually, we ran that one bracket.
Yeah. So it was once we figured out exactly how to use it, because at the time we didn't get much support at the time, which was like November, October last year, I think it was. But when we figured it out, it was the easiest thing to use. It was so simple. Managing the brackets were easy. Having people register was even easier. Jesus, like having them register instead of you having to input all their names. I love it. Love it. It's great. I wish everything did that.
Yeah,
but now we got you.
Yeah, like in general, you can always like in terms of like in that kind of functionality and registration for people is typically most TOs are extremely excited about that, because one, you can even input PayPal and Stripe will give you a processing fee. A lot of players don't know why is there a processing fee, and it's mostly to cover your loss from PayPal trying to steal money from you.
Yeah.
So you can set that. So a lot of tournaments do that. So that way you can be like, all right, I don't have to worry about this. And also in terms of just streamlining everything else, once we're adding in more rankings for different games. So if there's a national rank, or if there's your local power ranking, or you're just if you're in the region of California and you have the top 10, top 20, we'll be able to input that. But also what it essentially that does is it will feed automatically into our system that all right, this is your top 20 register, or this is the top whatever players register for your event. And seeding wise, it'll be a lot easier, because we're improving our seeding generator to just automatically distribute them in the pools they need to be, but also avoid essentially if they're in multiple games the same pool. So we'll be having that coming out pretty soon. In general, just ensuring that we make the experience every week. We try to improve the platform for tournament organizers first, and then from there, the people actually registering, we want to make it a place for them to kind of figure out all right, I want to go to my next major. But in general, we want to push locals, because one, a lot of people just in general just don't know where their next event is, and there's so much there's Discord now, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, and you get 800 invites and thousands of notifications. You kind of just don't know where to go, and some people just want to play, So it's just, that's kind of the reason why Burst League exists. It's just so I can have people be support your local scene first and foremost, because that's where you grow, it's where you learn, and I know a lot of good people in Vegas that are really good at the games. They kind of you moved here, and he's really good at KOF, and Ryan LV from Marvel. People didn't really know Vegas until Ryan LV just started dominating people. Yep. And we have a lot of weeklies out here at PSG, and they do a little classic before Evo. So if y'all ever in town Wednesday or Thursday before Evo, it's actually closer now. It used to be west side of Vegas. I don't know if you know Vegas. So basically, Vegas is you just have the Strip. Mm-hmm. And I live in Las Vegas, in case anybody was wondering. But so you have the Strip, and then you have the west side and east side of the Strip. So basically, UNLV is southeast of the Strip. It's really close. PSG now is actually a few blocks away from UNLV. It's actually only a 10-minute Uber ride. And and Uber, Lyft are legal now. But if you drive to Vegas, be wary. Every hotel has paid parking now.
Every hotel?
Almost. They finally did it. Yeah, but basically every hotel charges $10 a day. If you're staying there, it's typically included in your bill as a fee. But I think the only hotels that don't is like Hooters and like Tropicana and like one of these like random hotels. Yeah, so but like majority of them now have paid for parking. But most people are coming on Evo are going to be flying and staying in the Mandalay Bay, Luxor area, which is where everything is going to happen anyway. So I don't blame people for being close. So
yeah, I mean,
but yeah, no, I think in terms of general, just locals are super important. You know, and that's kind of the reason why when I helped develop Burst League with the community leaders, I established a D tier was actually first and that initially put for Burst League before I added it to Curly Circuit, because we had a lot of people that like had locals of like 10-man tournaments, you know, or like 8. Yeah, I didn't want to punish them because I wanted them to grow. So we're like, okay, let's just do a D tier where like there's 50 points and you can distribute it, and then that way like a lot of people just kind of come back. Like we have Gamers on the Edge Fight Club. They recur and come back, and they keep having a local, and they start out like 6 people for the event, and then now like Guilty Gear gets like 12, 15, 16, and it kind of slowly grows, and it helps kind of cross promote them as like being part of something bigger. And it was really nice that Jabali was able to kind of work with us, coincide to have Siutaku as like the like prize of it all, so to speak, you know. And hopefully for me, for Burst League, I would ideally like to see how the community reacts to it, and I'm hoping to plan something like postseason, maybe invitational or something fun where we can kind of take the best of the best and, you know, have a laid back atmosphere, kind of similar to Danger Room, but maybe a little more weirder flair, a little more anime flair, like whatever people feel like doing.
How much more could there possibly be, man?
I mean, look.
I mean, some people like I know some people like playing Secret Hitler and Werewolf. Like those games would be like interesting to see.
So you like kind of want to have like your own like a summit event, like from.
I mean, in a way, but like whatever the community wants to play and like see after hours. Because I just in general I feel like that. Oh, like, you know, how is Kizzy K? You know. Yeah. Like how is Bjor, Son of Bear? Even though like. People are always mistaking me with him for some reason. You know, I'm like I knew of him, and like, you know, Kid Viper is they're all good people, you know, and especially I gotta give shout outs to Super Kawi Desu, one of our Blaze Blue players. He's a good guy. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of these personalities are hilarious together, and like that's kind of like my favorite thing to see at FGC events is just see people, you know, be friends and. Yeah. You know, when they lose, or when they have moments of like winning, not knowing they won, like final. I don't know. Was anybody at final round? When,
no, but I got to see the video.
Oh yeah. I remember because I was just walking to go get some water, and I see Dougal like losing, and I'm like, oh shit, he lost, and just seeing his reaction of him like knowing that he won. It was the most priceless thing I've ever seen, and I was really happy that I could see that live. But yeah, the video was priceless. It was like just absolutely wonderful. It's definitely good. But yeah, no. I in general, I think people from Smash GG, and not just as a place to register events, but I feel like as a place that you kind of keep track of everything else. You know, because even like when I was like a normal player in like 2015, 14, registering for major events, the hardest thing for me to do is just keep track of what I registered, and just like going through my emails or like going through my bank statement, like, oh shit, did I register the Evo? I don't know if I did. I legitimately like remember emailing Joey and be like, hey, did I register for Super Smash Brothers? And he's like, who the hell are you? And I'm like, I'm Bassam, you know, and he's like, let me look it up. Oh yeah, you're registered. And I was like, I remember how like nerve-wracking that was.
Whenever I ask him, he's like, nope, that'll be another $80, Chris.
Well, that's because it's you, Chris.
Yeah, you guys are lucky because your games were there back in the day. I was like, hey Joey, am I registered? He's like, KOF's not in this. What's wrong with you? I was like, ah shit. Damn. All right, let's see.
Yeah, no, but in general though, it's great. definitely really it's really heartwarming to see the community be receptive, and there's a lot of good people and just want to help. So I've always felt like that's a nice thing, and because in the end, like Smash CG, just so people know, like we don't charge any TOs or players for using our service. We're a free to use service, and that's because we're venture backed funded. So if anybody if you want to look it up, we have a on our website. It's called angel.co/smashcg. It's basically our website that kind of has our funding and kind of like how that works. And essentially, I don't know if any of you watch Silicon Valley on HBO. If any of you know what that is?
I mean, I know what it is, but I don't watch it.
I've never seen it.
Okay, dang it. Anyways, it's basically we can just grow esports as a whole. And for me, my main priority is FGC. That's kind of what I've been tasked to do, and that's why a lot of FGC events you probably see them using us, and embedded registration or not. I think it's just because in general it's just a lot easier. But yeah, no, I like. I don't want to talk forever, so I'm gonna stop talking, and then hopefully you could ask questions or whatever, because I can go on for like hours.
No, that's good. That's why we brought you on. We gave you a full hour to explain who you are and what you do, and you did a pretty good job of it so far.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Let me actually get to my background of who I am, because I feel like I didn't even explain that. So okay, non-Smash GG related. So my parents were expats, so I used to live in Saudi Arabia, and I was I'm kind of my parents are Lebanese, but like I was always considered a white American kid because I had an accent in Arabic whenever I spoke. So it was like people basically said like they're like Muslim, you sound like Alabama Arabian. And I was like Alabama Arabian. Like I did not. I was like I didn't know how that sounded until he's like, no, you have bad accent. I'm like, okay, but like I'd always and I only knew a lot of my Saudi friends, like because I used to go, because a lot of things are banned in Saudi Arabia. So the only things I could do was basically play video games, and the only place I could actually do that was the arcade. So I played a lot of first game I played in arcade was Street Fighter versus X-Men, and Mortal Kombat, and then Tekken were like my first games I played. And, Street Fighter was there, but like I always got my ass kicked, so I was like, I don't want to get my ass kicked. So like I'll play these other games that I won't get my ass kicked, and I'll choose the characters that look like no one knows how to beat. So I always picked Kuma in Tekken. It was always my character, and like Bear is not the reason why I'm Kuma's not the reason why I'm called Bear, but yeah, like Kuma was always my favorite. So seeing him in Tekken 7 made me really excited, because especially
the other person. All right.
yeah, like I mean, he has a different moveset for what I was told, so that's gonna be great. But essentially, what the best thing about Mortal Kombat when I used to play on the arcades was it was Mortal Kombat 3. I remember this because they had Katana or Melina on the sides, and then they used to censor everything in Saudi. So it used to be like, like they're in like their sexy outfits, and then they took a black paint and they like painted over like all the midriff and like the ankles. The only thing you could see was like her eyes, and then I remember because like all the Saudi kids I used to play with just pick the female characters, and they're like crazy outfits, and I'm always like, Ahmed, why did you pick this? And he's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. and I'd always pick like the character that would like kick ass. I'm like, all right, I'll pick Sub-Zero because I can like do some crazy shit and like freeze them, and they would hate that. But like yeah, like it was just like it was very interesting. So our first tournaments was like actually at arcades, and I used to like help like my buddy run it, and we used to set paper, and it was like very very rudimentary. And this is actually the late 90s, early thousands, so we didn't actually get like, we had systems, but like no one would be like, hey, come over to my house, because you couldn't really do that like in Saudi. You'd be like, yo, come over, to be like, why? Be like, oh yeah, it's kind of awkward. Like it was never like a thing like you can just do. So that's kind of how I got actually started in FGC, was like pure arcades. And I know that's mostly how most of the people like older than me, or like actually around my age and a little older, because I'm 27, so technically I'm kind of old for like Smash 4-ish, because the average age in Smash, like not Melee, but like the newer Smash is like 17, 18. So I'm like the grandpa there. Anyway, kind of looks up to me like I'm an old person, so to speak. But yeah, like that's mostly how I got started in FGC, and it was just doing that. And that was I lived in Saudi Arabia until like 2000 and for 3 years for high school, and then I bounced around between Texas, Florida, for work for in college, and then I came in like Vegas and like grad school. So that's why I am on Twitter. It's Bear UNLV, because I did it as like I first started it as like I'm gonna be working in the airport and this would be cool, and then like no one will know when I talk shit in the airport, and then like it just was like, okay, I can actually make this a career, so to speak. So then like I just continued doing it and working, being an honor to work on like major events that have a lot of history, and working on the core staff of Evo, CEO, Combo Breaker. It was like truly an honor, and honestly, I can't thank Joey and Jabali and Rick enough for taking a chance with me. And I know it's like preaching to the choir, so to speak, but I do really appreciate it, because like I come from Smash 4. It's kind of where I started, so to speak, but I only really like Smash 4 because I heard Ryu was in it and Mega Man is in it. Like a lot of the Smash 4 guys, like they came from Brawl and they were like, yeah, play it. And I only bought Wii U because I saw Mega Man was in the game and I heard about Ryu and I was like, yeah, I'll buy this system. And then I just started hosting events and I was like, this is pretty fun. But yeah, if you ever at a Smash 4 event and I'm running it, I'm typically cheering for the Capcom characters, like Mega Man and Ryu. Especially Ryu. Ryu is actually really fun to watch at high level play for Smash 4. We almost had someone make it last year top 8 for Evo. This summer, I'm hoping at CEO and Evo, my buddy Locust makes it. He's probably the best Ryu there is now. He's like actually good, but also like the best part about Ryu in Smash 4 is he's Street Fighter 4 Ryu, not 5. Because if he was 5, he'd be horrible.
Oh my god!
but he's like, I'm just being honest. Like wouldn't have focus.
No, you're
attack.
right. You're
focus
right.
attack is a great like tool in the game. But yeah, I mean, like in general, like I've been a big Capcom fan for quite a long time. Marvel's Capcom was like definitely a game that I played every variation on arcade, and then when 2 came out, like I played it with a bunch of my buddies, and 3 I just got bodied online. I think 3 was the most intimidating. I think that's because when 3 first came out, it was in that like Evo was like super cool and like, but you couldn't really like figure out where to go, and it was like really daunting to be like, okay, I'm gonna go on Facebook or some random forum and be like, hey guys, I'm some random person that you'll never meet, and like in general, I found that like any FGC and Smash community, going to your first event is like the most nerve-wracking experience.
Oh yeah.
I think just making that as easy as possible and as painless and making people feel like we're all just normal humans, just want to play video games. I think in general, just to make friends was like my main goal when I first started hosting events in Vegas, for Smash Bros. Specifically, because I noticed there was a barrier of clicks to get through, or like not clicks like actual, like clicks like people that like were already friends and you didn't really like know how to like kind of introduce yourself to the community. But I found that in like FGC, it's way different. Like you're just like, who are you? Yeah, come play. Whatever. We'll play first at 5, and no big deal. And if you want to like throw down money and make it more interesting, you can do that. And I have never money matched because one, I know that like I will be extremely mad if I lose. So like I make it a rule now. Like I don't play for like that kind of money, because even like growing up in Saudi, like betting was like not allowed. But we had like, when we played, it was more for pride, and like we had prizes of like swag and like stuff, but it's kind of like Japan where like you could really like play for money. But yeah, in general, like I remember I think I did it once in Smash, and then I was like, never again. for money matching because I just was furious the whole week for just losing.
I was gonna spin that
But
money
it
on
wasn't
something
like
nice.
it was. Yeah, and it was different than a tournament because a tournament you're like, I lost, I went 2-2, not that bad, but when you're like, damn, I just lost $5, I could have gotten a burger or something. Now I'm just starving. But yeah, I mean, that was rough times. It was when I was unemployed.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's the best time to lose a money match when you don't have any.
Yeah, and then you're like, damn it, man, I can't do anything.
You can see you got a story later on though. You can tell people dude, I struggled. You don't understand. Lunch money, dinner, that was on the table.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I moved to Vegas, I actually moved for my family first and grad school, but it was hard. I didn't know what to do, and the only thing I could really do midway through grad school was just go to events because I felt like that would make friends and not fake friends that I would meet in grad school that would have to force be friends to be like, how are you doing today? I'm like, oh, I'm good, and let's talk about our project. And you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about our project, but I'll take it to questions / discussions from you guys. So I won't talk forever about just my life lesson, I guess.
That's a good story, man.
It's okay. It seems like you needed to vent. That's what it really seems like. I just need to get this out here, everybody. Here you go. This is who I am. So you've got both. So you've got two separate circuits technically going on. Well, four really, because you have 4 different games.
Yeah.
Curly is that's done in part with, I'm assuming, Yipes and Persia.
Yeah, Curly Circuit is in part with Yipes, Angelic, Persia, Kinder Party, and the Gaga guy.
Okay.
So all of us
the
came together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of us came together, and basically after Evo, I was like, we have to do something to reinvigorate locals, because if it was just gonna stop with Evo, then I was just gonna stop with Evo. I felt like we just had to connect everything as much as we can, especially given Marvel Infinite is coming out in September. Now we know the date, so
yeah,
we're planning the finals of the circuit to be before that comes out. Hopefully, I'm just working with a couple venues in town here, actually in Vegas, that are very interested in being integral part of the finals for a lot of events. Actually, there's a lot of events here that are a lot of casinos are getting involved with esports, and the easiest thing for me to sell to them, honestly, is FGC. It's so easy because because all they'll be like, so what is esports? And I'll be like, and I'll try to explain the normal ones that I don't know. I'm just League of Legends with these. I don't know. They walk around. There's a lot of money in it, and they're like, cool. And I'm like, but FGC? And they're like, what's FGC? And oh, the fighting game community is great. It's basically like UFC, but video games. And then they're like, oh, we know that. And they're like, it's like boxing. Yeah, it's basically it's like boxing, but they bang you play Street Fighter, and they're like, oh yeah, I played Street Fighter, and then they get excited, and then you kind of show them some combo videos, or I show them the Evo trailer, and they're like, oh, this is hella cool. And I'm like, yeah, it is cool. Look at all these games, And then they're like, okay, we can then demographic wise, FGC fits exactly in what they want. They want people above 21 that are that love to kind of gamble, play, and that if you go to any FGC event, you will see people do that. They like to drink, they like to have fun. And Evo, I see a lot of people gamble when they're above 21. But in general,
above 21.
Yeah, and for me, one thing I've been really actually working hard on the past 3 years before I even got more involved in Smash GG was actually talking to a lot of the casinos to create more partnerships and opportunities for a lot of different games, because there's a lot of budget that they will just do. It's not going to be like, hey, I'm going to host an event. Some of them are just straight up will be like, yo, do you want to just do an 8-man thing? And I'm like, yeah. You're going to help me with the flights? They're like, yeah, we'll give you rooms in this. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, listen, we can do that. And they're like, yeah. And they just, and that's it was slowly, the crumbs were being taken. They're like, oh, Evo's coming in town. And I'm like, yeah, Evo's coming town. You know, if you don't know what Evo is, like, you're just like way behind. Like,
Yeah.
you should know if you're in this town. Now everybody actually like notices it because living as a local, like not now, but in June when it hits, advertisements will be on the script, like you'll have like coming soon Evo World Finals, and then like a lot of people are just like, the hell is that? Like, and then they just look it up, like, oh, because technically when you're in the Mandalay Bay event center, you have like a lot of like normal ads that get sent out by the MGM resorts because they have to advertise what they're basically gonna have in their event center. But yeah, a lot of people are just getting excited about it. And we have a lot of people in general just coming in as spectators and less of actual players, which is nice to see because, you know, not everybody can be the Jaewong of a game, or, you know, or like the Chris G, and just people just having fun. Watching people is actually kind of nice. You know, I actually had to teach my father-in-law Street Fighter cause last year. I told him, like, yeah, I'm working this event. You know, tune in to ESPN, and he thought I was joking. he's like, oh, cool. There's gonna be video games on TV, and I was like, yeah, I'm being serious. Go on ESPN this time. And he's like, all right, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm being serious. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, hey, there's Street Fighter, and I'm like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
Why didn't you tell me sooner, man? Come on.
Well, my dad didn't believe me at all. My dad personally was like, well, this is just going for your career, and I'm like, well, I'm not playing. And I'm not doing any of the stream. You know, those are really hard-working people playing, and like the people in behind the streams, those are really hard-working people. I just help run the brackets beforehand, and then that kind of like I do that part. But I'm not going to be on there. And they're like, that's still pretty cool. And my dad's a big fan of when there's alternate costumes with like very revealing outfits. He just like my dad, like he was like blown away. He's like, wait, hold, like I think it happened when Armika was like too scandalous and they had to switch the outfit. Like my dad was very excited and he asked why that happened. I remember I had to explain to him. It's just like, wait, why is it like he just had no idea that like. Because the last time he saw me play Street Fighter was like Street Fighter 2 at the arcade, so like he saw like pixels, but now he's like, holy crap, like what is like he just looks like real, and I'm like, yeah, I mean like it's close to it, but yeah, and he's like, but why are they so revealing? And I was like, Dad, don't worry about it, like this is just the way we have to sell it. But yeah, he's definitely a fan of that. My dad's not shy.
You got a good dad. That's what you're telling us. You got a good dad.
Dad's catching those DOA streams on the low.
Oh boy.
But yeah. My dad is definitely. If he was watching FGC, he would watch DOA. Like I could guarantee that. He's interesting.
So, with Burst League right now, or I'm sorry, with Curly, what's the prize for winning the end, like with top 3 rankings? What do they get?
So right now it's mostly TBA, so we're gonna have like a formal show on it. But essentially, what's gonna happen is the finals itself. We're gonna have it where the past Curly circuit. So Curly circuit has been in like the Curly Mustache series has been around for a while. So we're gonna try to get the past winners, and then the current top whatever, and then we're gonna have a couple last chance qualifiers most likely, and then maybe have it be able to expand of the final bracket, so we can essentially have it where anyone can that are in the rankings possibly opt into with the final event, and that's likely going to be in September. I'm working out the details now, but ultimately we want it to be where there's a prize pool, not just $10 to enter, but we're gonna working on a couple sponsors to be able to contribute yourselves to the prize pool, and then in return we'll have like a media deck and all that for them. But that's essentially the goal for the end of Curly, is to finish off, not to really finish it because I feel like people should still play Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But obviously, once Infinite comes out, we want to push that game as much as possible. And in terms of the Curly circuit, I would ideally like to have a season 2 that just factors in Infinite, so that way locals just feel like they can be involved in it and contributing to a community initiative. I mean, there's some things that we're gonna fine tune for next for Infinite, because when we first launched it, we kind of didn't necessarily know everything, and we kind of were just shooting from the hip and kind of planned out as much as we can. But in the end, it seemed like the community really appreciated it. There's a lot of more Marvel events we saw. I definitely saw a lot more Marvel events in general on my end from the data aggregation I received. And when I look over events on Marvel that are on Smash GG or on like Challenge or any other website that's building brackets, we definitely saw a lot of growth after Evo, but then especially with Curly Circuit, I even saw like double growth for just events, and for some of the attendees, a lot of them had like 50% growth at least. And then a lot of events that were already hosting Street Fighter were like, hey, can we add Marvel? And can we be part of Curly? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Like, I definitely want more people to be able to play Marvel. Like, it's important for them to get used to the game, get familiarized with it, because it's one of the few games that has a lot of recognizable characters that's not Smash Brothers. Because I feel like Smash Brothers does really well because a lot of the characters people know. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with Marvel versus Capcom, I mean, Marvel Studios coming out with like killer movies, people will know like who Rocket Raccoon is now. Like 5 years ago, no one knew who Rocket Raccoon was. But now they're like, yeah, I know who Rocket Raccoon is. Like, he's from Guardians of the Galaxy and he's awesome. So like a lot more people like are knowing these characters. And in Capcom in general, I think a lot of the Capcom games, it depends. A lot of people kind of don't know Mega Man because he's kind of shafted. He's one of my favorite franchises, so like I get really mad. But I'm glad like he came back. I'm glad X came back for Infinite. A lot of people don't want Zero, but I do want Zero to be back. I feel like I like Zero a lot. I personally I usually use like villains anyways, so like I'll use Wesker because I just like. I feel like a lot of the games I play in general, you're always a hero. So I just like picking the badass person. I'm like, oh, I wish I always could play this guy, so I'm gonna play him here. So I typically try to always go for villains in any game I play. That's like fighting wise.
Cool.
Yeah. That's Marvel. Yeah. Okay. That was Marvel.
Last question.
So with Burst League, it covers Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, and King of Fighters. And I like it because you added King of Fighters to the anime thing, and a lot of the KOF people were really upset with it because they insist King of Fighters is not anime. But they don't see, like, I'm hoping they see it now, but they don't see that this is a huge opportunity for them to get something going for them.
I should explain to that why I added and I actually personally was like, all right, I'll add this. Because when I first started Burst League, I was like, okay, anime fighters is definitely a thing. There's a lot of locals out there that just they're just kind of running around. Like actually, this kind of stemmed from when I talked to Super Kawadesu. Like he was just having trouble running a local. And he's like, I don't know how to run a local, and like it's super hard. I don't want to run it anymore. This anime. I'm like, well, is there? I told him about Smash GG, and I talked to Marlon Pai. Marlon Pai like loves Smash GG. He thinks every TO should use it. And I was like, okay, like how can I make this? How can I make this something fun for people, but also like use the platform to encourage their local growth? And I was like, okay, well, I'll do an anime fighters. I'll ask so basically when I reached out to Jabali, because Seo Chaku is to me like the flagship anime fighters ending event. And then when I looked at Seo Chaku, I looked at numbers wise, and I was like, oh, like Kings of Fighters was kind of big, and in general like a lot of, and I noticed like the correlation between Kings of Fighters events doing well in registration numbers and Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue was very close. It was very parallel. So I was like, okay, these three games do really well together. Kings of Fighters obviously is not technically anime, but I wanted them to be part of it because I felt like if I just do Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, then then I feel like I'm leaving out, not necessarily an unknown game because people know the game. But I just wanted more people to be like aware of its competitive environment. On Burst League right now, we have a lot more Guilty Gear events than BlazBlue and Kings of Fighters. This is as much Guilty Gears events compared to Kings of Fighters events. BlazBlue, it's about double. Kings of Fighters is the lesser of the two, but it's been growing a lot more. We used to have, there's weeks where I had 0 events of King of Fighters on Smash G. Now we have like 4, 6, and I'm like, all right, that's dope, you know? Like, to me, I'm like, that's awesome. Like people feel like they can be part of it, and they're like, yeah, let's host some stuff and be on Burst League and get some points, you know? And I'm like, and it makes me excited because one, like, now they can, you know, get info they need and then kind of cultivate their community. One of the things I've noticed, so a lot of anime fighters, Kings of Fighters players are being scouted. So FGC managers for Panda Global, one of the hardest things for me when I look for talent, when I helped look for talent, was figuring out how the hell to find it. You're like in Smash 2, that was like one of the hardest things. You're like, who is good, and how do I at least like know who is good? Like, I'm not gonna be on Twitter and be like, hey guys, I'm a manager, I'm an owner for a team, I have a budget of whatever. You know, I mean, everybody's got different budgets, but I have a budget for travel and whatever. But I want to get a Guilty Gear player or a King of Fighter player who is good. You know, you're not gonna trust like random like egg, or no, it's not an egg anymore on Twitter. It's like weird person, but like, you know, they're not gonna trust some random person. So actually, like when I actually talked to the Fable before, Fable GG is their team owner, and I told them about Burst League, and I said, hey, like, here's the top 5 of these 2 sub leagues. I recommend, like, look at them. They have their Smash GG profiles filled out, they have their location, and they have their Twitter on there. If you want to contact them, you can do that. You know, and basically, I just gave him, and I added him on it, and I told him, hey, these are the handles, and they ended up picking up Kizzy K and Kid Viper, which is really cool because I was happy that they actually like did both of them. I recommended like basically like all top 5, including Zugura, but like in general, like it's nice that for a team manager, seeing a sort of blueprint to look at is really important. You know, it's not going to be like the sole definer of the best player in the world, because obviously back in like, you know, a year ago, it was like before this kind of existed. A year ago, it was like, who won Evo? Okay, you know, I want to get that person. But the main reason why I made these was because I want teams to feel like I want to get a player before Combo Breaker CEO and Evo, not after they win something. Because then it would benefit the team and the player, because I want them to feel like they can be involved with anybody. There's a lot more teams getting into the mix. You know, new teams that have liquidity to spend. A lot of people are wary of them. Honestly, I would recommend always having a friend or someone that has better eyes to look over your contracts if you're ever getting something from a team, only because you just don't know what it is. Also, you want to make sure you get paid and get everything compensated. So it's just something that, in general, I don't want anybody being like, oh, you know, I got 3 letters in front of my name, I'm cool now. You know, it's not what I like. That's definitely not what I want someone to do. But in general, I feel like it helps to actually go to somewhere. And I've had a lot of team people be like, hey, Burst League's kind of cool. You know, is there a way I can get contracts with this guy? You know, and I'm glad that has been an aftermath of the community circus, because essentially that's kind of the main goal of it, was to make people feel like they earned something, instead of just being like, yeah, I win all the time locally, here's these brackets randomly, like here's these links, and you're like, I remember like as a manager when I like asked someone like, hey, who's good at like Killer Instinct, and they're like, I'm good, here's all these like challenge bracket links. I'm like, oh, there's like 50 links. like I don't know who. Like you're like, I don't even know how the hell to say if you're good or not. Like, or like just like in general, like, you're like, how do I gauge this? So this kind of helps out, and I'm glad that's been actually used by a lot of people, from what I've seen so far.
It's definitely a thing that's complicated for people who are outside of specific scenes, because, you know, unlike Street Fighter V, you don't have this gigantic stage like Capcom Pro Tour for a lot of people to gauge who's actually really good at a lot of games. So it is kind of cool to have Burst League where it makes it a little bit easier for people who just don't know the scene that well, and frankly don't necessarily have the time to be enmeshed in it all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm
do we
glad
want
you
to
guys
talk
feel
about
that way
sorry.
too. I just. No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, do we want to talk about combo breaker numbers?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's talk about combo. Who wants to? So you guys can either go over or I can go over. I haven't opened up, so I'm always ready to go for this
Might
stuff.
as well read them off, bro.
Okay. So something real quick, just so people know. Smash GG, one of the every TO we work with, they have the option of hiding attendees. So a lot of like Evo, CEO, you won't see attendees until they publish it. So Combo Breaker, that's what happens. So everything was hidden, so you couldn't see anything until now. So when you go to an event page, if you click on the events tab, that is essentially where the brackets live. We used to call it brackets. We might switch it back. The main reason why we don't call it brackets is because in events, we have different features for each bracket, like group. So we have an overview, we have standings, we have stats, and then we have actual brackets where people can see. So now what we do is we automatically sort it from the most to the least. So if you ever just want to be like, what's got the most, what got the least, and the events are published, just go to the Smash GG page for the respective event, click on events, and it'll just sort from most to least. So right now, like Street Fighter has the most for Combo Breaker at 645 entrants. Injustice 2.
Did he freeze?
Did we lose
We
him?
lose him?
I think we did.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
no.
He said Injustice 2.
Oh, no.
Man, Twitch cop, please.
Oh no!
We'll all be
think,
left in suspense.
Yeah, I think Rick stopped him. So, well, I'll carry on what he was saying. Injustice 2 has 363 people. This is going to be pretty much the week after the game is out.
Yep.
Revelator 2, which is a big surprise to everybody because
Oh,
no one thought it was going to be. Oh no, the layout is messed up. Everyone knew Revelator 2 was going to be big, but they didn't know it was going to be this big. There's Austin 316 numbers for this right now.
316?
So
Damn.
316, and then so here's the kicker. Those are the three big games right now, and then it drops from 316 to KI, which has 167. Tekken 7, a game that's not even out yet, has 163. Skullgirls, which every year Skullgirls is the biggest event for Skullgirls is Combo Break. Everyone goes there. Mike Z's usually there. The entire community just goes there to play. They've got 148. Smash Brothers 4 has 148 as well. They're both tied. Smash Brothers not that big here. I don't know what it is. I think last year was really small too. King of Fighters 14 with 137. I think this is the biggest KOF 14 tournament to date. I could be wrong, but I'm Gibby. I'm not wrong. So there's Mortal Kombat XL with 134. It's pretty good considering Injustice has like almost triple those numbers. Marvel 3, 134 as well. Blaze Blue Central Fiction, 130. Mystery Game, which is always fun, 128.
And that's capped.
Yeah, that's capped. And they have a waiting list according to...
Yeah, every year they have a waiting list. Basically, you can get on it. I'm sure there's already a few people because inevitably people just don't end up making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully those spots get filled in with good people. ST has 113. Someone put up a tweet saying this is the biggest ST tournament in the past 5 years in the States.
That wouldn't surprise me, actually.
Melee's at 89. VSAB has 84 people. That's huge for VSAB. Brawlhalla has 84 as well. Soul Calibur 2, 61, and CVS 2 at 46. And we have got the man himself, Kuma, back here.
I got jammed by my Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, it's
all good.
I was so frustrated because I thought it was mid combo. Like, yes, I'm gonna talk about all this cool stuff.
Injustice.
And I guess this is the largest VSAP tournament in the West. So basically, outside of Japan, this is the largest VSAP tournament ever. Maybe, I don't know. Confirm.
Man,
my homie
I
that's never going
wonder.
to
Could be.
Because I know.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back in there.
Yes, you're back. So with KOF 14, I haven't seen any tournament anywhere in the world reach these numbers so far. So this could be the largest KOF 14 tournament to date. Guilty Gear, Paul, have you seen anything?
Actually, I was kind of talking about this with some people earlier. I'm pretty sure that this is the biggest gear tournament that's ever happened in the United States outside of EVO in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, for sure, it's the biggest outside the EVO. Do you know if it's bigger than what they've had in Japan over the past year or two?
Man, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I don't know.
Okay. But still, 316.
It's pretty ridiculous for Guilty Gear. I'll say that.
Yeah. Glass shattered for Guilty Gear. You guys are walking down Combo Breaker, stunning people, beating the shit out of them. It's gonna be
we're
great.
just gonna smash beers together.
Oh hell yeah!
Some Gearwise.
It's gonna be really cool, just because. I was telling you guys a little bit before, right when we were doing the pre-show. I was like, I really thought that we would maybe hit 250, and I was gonna be like, man, that's actually a really good number for Guilty Gear. Like, Exerd's, Exerd has its fan base, but for the most part, I was under the assumption that it was mostly still the hardcore niche of players who had started with the old games, and then we picked up a few more players with Exerd, but it still didn't feel like huge. And this, to me, starts to make me feel like the scene is growing.
Yeah.
Like, in a big way. So, that's pretty awesome.
No, it's great. I mean, we're obviously coming from a lot of, ton of hard work for the Guilty Gear scene. You guys have been pushing for years now, especially for Exerd. So it's really nice to see that pay off too, and hopefully that continues on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I know that Exerd had a little bit less at EVO last year than it did the year before. But with this number for Combo Breaker, I'm actually pretty optimistic about the numbers at EVO.
Yeah, I think it's got to be pretty high at this point.
I hope so.
I like using Combo Breaker and CEO as a gauge for EVO numbers, because
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, usually the past few years, if an event is big, especially at CEO, if an event has massive numbers, it's going to have significantly more at EVO. That's generally how it's worked over the past couple of years. And this fucking Combo Breakers is insane.
Yeah, man, holy crap.
Jesus fucking Christ. Also, I guess according to Majin Obama, this outside of EVO, this is the largest Rev tournament in the world.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Open bracket Rev tournament.
Yeah. Open bracket. Nice. Yeah, and also, so I've noticed this. A lot of people, and this is just typically from not just FGC but Smash. It's with so many events going on, it's always difficult to get people to register early. I think that's one of the hardest things that I've noticed, even as someone that helps out with a lot of these events. Just marketing. I'm not sure if it's marketing or it's just people in general feeling like their attention span maybe is not as big as it can be. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for Combo Breaker, and definitely for CEO and Evo. I'll be at all three of them, so if any of you guys are going to be there or anybody else, if you come say hi, I won't bite.
Me and Gibby will be at CEO, so we'll say what's up.
I'll be a Combo Breaker.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll also be a Combo Breaker.
And we'll all be at Evo, most likely.
I'll be working.
Yep. That is the plan.
Evo's going to be awesome. I'm very looking forward to Evo. Evo was really hard for me last year. It's probably the most worked on. It's basically 2,600 Smash 4 kids in a day and a half was intense.
That was the voice drop of depression. Just that was
oh man,
the hardest day of my life.
It could have been a lot better. And we are going to be better this year. But man, yeah. Honestly, a lot of the times, especially with Smash 4 kids, it's like herding cats on drugs, basically. Because they're just because the one point there was one point I literally had to run through, unplug people's controllers, and tell them to get off. And that's because we're starting round 2, and I was like, all right, these brackets are ready to rock, and these kids just I'm playing friendlies. And I'm like, oh, you you better get off
You
that.
gotta hit him with the spray bottle, man.
It's time to go.
Yeah, and I had someone keep like, "Yo, bro, what's your problem?" I'm like, "What's my problem? I'm working it out."
I like that you say this. It's not just Smash people. I've had to do this with Marvel people. This is in the past 3 years. Marvel, KOF, and Street Fighter people, all in their mid and high, like late 30s. Okay, so it's not just kids that do this. It's everyone. They just want to play. They just want to mash buttons and shit.
No, and there's nothing wrong with it. It just sucks when like you're like, "Hey guys, this is like really important to get this done before 10 because I want people to sleep." Like,
Oh yes, please. That would be much appreciated. Although on the bright side, we're not like stuck over on the other side of the strip this time. So getting out late doesn't necessarily mean you can't do shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I think this year is gonna be a lot. I don't know if you read Cannon's kind of preamble. Oh, he had posted on our Street Fighter and our Smash, but basically, a lot of the things that they saw that they can improve upon for this year, and a lot of things are going to be definitely a lot better. I know personally for me using Smash GG, honestly, I know I'm biased, but there's a lot of things like our whole team is going to be there, like a lot of our dev team and our support team. So we're just going to be making it as smooth as possible and ensuring like the next wave we don't have to have someone handwriting it. We just like print them out right there. Like,
Oh, wow.
and that's one of the beauties of Smash GG. If you ever wanted to use us, like we were actually improving our print bracket feature, but the automatic bracket and progression advancement is one of the most helpful things, not just for you as a TO, but as a player, because you know who you can play next. You don't have to like sift through and wait on the guy, because you can just be like, okay, I'm in this pool and I'm playing this guy next. And something that I do for bigger events whenever I'm on staff or helping in general is I always recommend to TOs to set wave timers, because that way, like as a player, like if you're at an event and you're like, shit, when is my pool? And you can just go to the event page, and you just go to dashboard. So typically just go to the URL, do a front slash, then dashboard, and as long as it's the TO sets a pool wave time and everything, it'll just say like Guilty Gear at 2 p.m. pool A2, Marvel at 4 p.m. pool B, whatever. So it'll just let you know like this is your pool, this is where you need to be. And what I typically tell the people beforehand for any big major event, do that at your house, screenshot it, because most likely you're not going to change by the time you get to the event. But that way, like in case you run out, if you don't get internet access, you'll have a screenshot of it and be like, all right, this is what I saw before I left my house 30 minutes ago, or before I left my hotel room.
We just changed it.
We say this is still right. And you're just, typically it won't do change, unless and the TO will tell you if that happens. But I always recommend it to all of the Smash kids, and they typically have done that. Like Smash 4 Melee guys will be like, yeah, that makes sense, because there's a lot of venues, if you're in bad Wi-Fi, if the Wi-Fi is getting you get internet access properly, but
yeah, that's always.
But yeah, I definitely recommend that, especially for Combo Breaker, CEO, and Evo. They're all gonna have the dashboard functionality on Smash GG that you can even screenshot it from your computer, email it to yourself. But it's gonna make things really nice for any kind of attendees to know where they're gonna be. So that way they don't have to search for their name in 5 different brackets. So that way you can just see it in one page and it'll be good to go.
Cool. Do we have time? We have no time.
Yes. No, we have time. I want to do two of these questions. One is kind of important. I also want to know this. Ace King Offsuit, good friend of the show.
Oh, yeah.
He's asking, when are stream schedule imports coming to Smash GG?
So I actually saw this question, and I just wanted to figure out. So in terms of stream schedule imports, does that mean he's importing a stream schedule, or he is trying to figure out the stream schedule itself? That's what I'm trying to figure out the question. Is it more for him to?
I think what he's trying to say is basically when are we gonna have a stream schedule on Smash GG that's
a native app to it or something.
Native API. Okay. I believe my dev team are working on something in Q3, Q4. Although right now, if he has any kind of details he'd like to provide in terms of how you'd like that to work, he's more than welcome to email us at hello@smash.gg, so that way I can funnel it and make a GR ticket for our team to kind of like look over, figure out if this is allocate our proper time for it, because we have a lot of other projects in the queue, but I'd like to make sure if this is something that is needed for a lot of different communities, it can be in.
And then we'll end on this question, unless Chris, you want to answer that one question.
No.
Well, I actually
That's the
had a
answer.
question too, so I'll throw mine in whenever.
Okay.
Go ahead, ask it right now.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know that the search function helps to find tournaments, but will there ever be a time when something like, say, Wednesday Night Fights is actually just a bigger category, and then all the versions of Wednesday Night Fights from week to week are listed under that?
We can. I told Vi this before, and we can do this. Essentially, sooner or later, we're gonna have. Right now, we have technically a circuit and league pages.
Yeah.
So someone that's actually done it and for the community is Tapcade. They basically listed out all their locals. So something anybody can do, like, is if they ever wanted to make fights page where like you can have all the Wednesday Night Fights forever, you can essentially what you would do is email us or use our support chat and be like, hey, I want to have my whatever weekly. I want it to be recurring on this one page forever. And basically what you would do is we would make you the circuit page or the league page. We'll have more sooner or later. We'll have pages where people can make their own. But for now, to limit like published and out there is actually not broken, and good links we usually review ourselves to make sure it works properly. We can just do that for you, and then as a TO, you would just clone your weekly. So whenever you type it in, literally when you use the clone feature, it's a lot easier than it was before. So if anybody's used it last year, it's way easier now. You don't have to like do a Google Forms resubmission and all that. You just literally go to your dashboard of hosting an event, click your weekly, click clone, and literally it will clone every single thing you have on there. Your details page, your payment options, your events that you want to do, any connection field. So if you're doing an online event and you had like PSN as a connector or Steam, it will just automatically do that. Or if you're like a Twitch sub or a Twitch user that like runs sub-only tournaments, we can do that. Like we have Nairo from Smash that he does his sub-only tournaments every other week, and that gets like 300 people entering. And essentially what it does is it pulls in the Twitch API where like you can register for the event only if you're a sub for this channel. So if you ever wanted to do that, anybody can do that on our platform, any game that supports online functionality and that has a sub feature. And we found that that's one that if you get moderators to help you out, you can do anywhere between like a 12 to like 100 person online sub tournament under like a few hours. But yeah, sorry. So back to your original question. Yes, you can do your own page for a series of events anytime. If you ever wanted to do that, you can just email hello@smash.gg, and then we will GG, and we will be able to help set that up for you. We have a bigger support team now, so we can accommodate as many people as possible to ensure that they can have a fun time. And right now, like if you go on Smash GG's homepage and you just click on circuits and leagues, you'll be able to see a bunch of. So you go to tournaments, click on circuits leagues, you'll see a bunch of different events that are using us. It's very similar to Burst League, how we list a bunch of events at once. We would just essentially make you a blanket page of what you would like, kind of like Skullgirls Tour. I don't know if you've seen Skullgirls Tour, but they have a bunch of their events that they kind of list out. But you can look at Tapcade as an example for what we've done for them, and we would love to do that for any kind of local region that wants to do that for their events.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, Gibby.
And last question. This might have a long answer, but another good friend of the show, not you, Thea. Thea, you stop. DJ Cream is asking, what games were popular in Saudi Arabia, and how were they different from the Middle Eastern audience, or for the different Middle Eastern audience?
The most popular game in Saudi was Tekken when I grew up, and it was mostly because the arcade version was readily available, and PlayStation was the #1 system to play, and to own. So we didn't really get like Xbox or like KI was hard to get once KI was off of Nintendo N64. So Tekken was the most readily played. Also, it's kind of one of the reasons why Shaheen was in Tekken variation. Because there was just a big FGC community that played a lot of Tekken games, and like a lot of the community that when I grew up liked that game the most. But right now, like in Middle East in general, there's a lot of good events are coming out, like Kuwait Battle Royale. There's GCC Majors, which is the Gulf Country Coast Majors. There's also, you get a read for not knowing all my Middle Eastern guys are putting on events out there. There's also like Dubai. There's a Dubai Doha. There's a bunch of different ones coming up. I wouldn't be surprised as the World Cup in Qatar, as that approaches, that we'll see more events and a lot more esports out there. Just because there's not that much. Like the tourism industry, they want to increase as much as they can, and there's a lot of good people out there that are hosting great events, and also their venues are really, really solid. Just internet is the only thing I think right now is what they're working on to be more streamlined. But like literally every month it improves. So, but like next year, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a really good major event out there that like people would be willing to go to. And the sad part is it's just expensive to fly.
Yeah. Oh, I looked into it before. Yeah. It is very expensive. I wanted to go out there one year, and that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Too much, and I'm too broke.
I am going to answer this question. You know what? I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer it. Okay.
Go for it. You want me to read it, or are you going to read it?
I'll read it.
All right.
This is all me. I'm going to own this. And it's Yorkcast from Mac. I'm just going to say Mac because I can't read his Rocks Jew Boxer. I don't know. If Guilty Gear community voted you out, would you step down from Grand Finals Hell Pockets? No.
I like that. No. Just.
All right.
Why is it having him step down? Why don't y'all step up?
I'm just.
Oh shit! All right. So I think that about covers everything. We'd like to thank our guest Bear for joining us. You can follow him at BearUNLV. And then there's also, you can follow Curly Circuit. I hate spelling it like this, but it's just Curly Circuit, Curly with an EH. And you can follow Burst League, which is exactly how it sounds, Burst League. If you have any more questions or concerns, or if you want your event to be a part of the Burst League or Curly Circuit, just hit them up. Hit all three of those Twitters up and keep bugging them until they get you in there.
Damn.
Also, yeah, see, there you go. Just keep on. One little thing, I guess. The creator for Arcana Hearts, Toru Sakurai, passed away early this year, or early in May. I don't know what this means for the future of the series. I know it has a scene here in the States and in Japan. People love it, especially Arturo. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but we'll see. I know Examu is that's their big game, right?
A port was coming out. A port either came out or was coming out, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Love Max, right?
Yes.
They were talking about running some kind of crowdfunding to get 7 stars ported.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly, 6 stars. 6 stars, I think it is. My bad. I would also point out that Anime Evo announced today that Hokuto no Ken has been added to the list of games.
Yeah. And it's arcade.
Thanks to some support from players in California. Rotanabor and Kane, I believe, was the other player, or at least his Twitter.
Oh, Kane. I think that's the guy, Marco the Wolves player too. Also, good shit, Hagure. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, he will be running the event. So
awesome.
He is.
All right.
Do you know when they're getting? Do you know when they're launching Reg for Anime Evo?
We can get you in touch with the organizer.
Never mind. I found their page. Sorry.
Look at you doing research, man.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of good events. Yeah, I forgot they hit me up before. Yeah, they're good dudes. They're dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. I know. Awesome. Hey, thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it. Sorry for the disconnect in the middle. I mean, luckily that first disconnect happened before. But good thing I wasn't good thing I wasn't like giving a big story and then not realize it and just talking to myself. For, like,
it was just numbers. You're just giving numbers.
Yeah.
I know. I do tend to lead on. If anybody has any questions on for Smash GG, you're more welcome to ask me. I would love to connect you and kind of help grow your events. We've had a lot more events be on our platform. And our main goal is just to help you guys grow. So if you want to do a shop, so we do a lot of, we help people make shops. If you want to do like cool stuff like we did for Danger Room, just let us know. If you want to do cool stuff, like if you want to do like a fantasy, we did fantasy for Danger Room. Like if you want to run, if you wanted that on your platform, you can do that for us. And if you just want to just host a local, in your weekly, kind of want to like have a little bit of a marketing campaign that goes behind it, you're more welcome to use us. And kind of you can even have it reg be free. And honestly, when I have a lot of weeklies that just have reg being free, and people just don't realize reg is free, they'll just like they'll register and be like, oh, it's free just to sign up. And like just because some weeklies do that, because it forces people to log into their account, and that themselves I think is just hard enough for people to do. So it typically ends up being like pretty streamlined. So it helps out in general if you ever wanted to like have that be, like if you're a TO and you're like, shit, I hate like people DMing me on like Twitter or like messaging me on Facebook, frankly, just add them to the bracket. Like you're more welcome to do anything you want for us. Just hit us up. These DMs are actually open. So if you just ever like, if I don't respond to you, just DM SmashGG and one of our people will help you out sooner or later. So and I check it. We have a support team that checks it. And you don't have to be, you can be anybody. I think we don't even filter out DMs, but I mean, just don't be rude.
Well,
We'll have to. I'll have to investigate you. But either way, and if you ever want to just look for events, if you just go to the homepage for SmashGG, and you go to the tournaments, you'll be able to actually filter out certain games. So if you just wanted to look for Kings of Fighters, or if you want to just look for Injustice tournaments, or just Guilty Gear. Right now in Guilty Gear, you can look through Guilty Gear XRD and Rev 2 because technically it's not out yet. So we still have people still host, they still list Guilty Gear Rev 2 as Guilty Gear normal XRD. So just keep in mind if you're looking for that game specifically to look at both, because some events like Toryuken has it as XRD, and also like Combo Breaker has it listed as XRD, but it's still Rev 2 on their reg system because we had to like switch it and all that whatnot. But just be a lookout if you're looking for that game specifically.
for sure.
But overall, do appreciate you guys having me on. It's been great talking to you. If anybody else has any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter. I followed all you guys. I did not follow everybody here, so I feel bad now. So now I follow all you guys, so I won't be.
No more though.
Yeah, I was like,
about
yeah,
that before. Yeah.
If you want to see the stupidest Twitter on earth, you can go look at mine.
but it's so good.
I will definitely will.
It's
All
all
right.
for a laugh, for real.
All right, we
All
got
right, guys,
anything else?
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
that's about it. Yeah.
All right. So just thank everybody once again for listening to another episode of Super Desperation Radio. So from everybody here, good night and good luck.